Hey everyone, it's Trader Rob, day one of my, let's just call it a medium size account challenge. Funded the account with $5,000. Let's see what the bot can do with me behind the driver's wheel. Let's get into the intro. As always, nothing that I state on this channel is financial advice. I'm here to share my own strategies that I trade each morning and to showcase a trading bot that I purchased from Robert Anderson about a month and a half ago. We completed our small account challenge, which pretty much broke even after a month, down $1.42. And pretty much just trading it. I think the bot took 100 trades. There's an entire 30-day review that I posted on the channel on Friday. So take a look and see all of my insight as to what I think the bot did really well with, what are some things that could be improved, and how I would handle this next challenge. So this next challenge is I have decided on funding the account with 5 grand. I am trading in cash. I am trading two instruments right now. I've got the NQ and I've got oil, so I got the CL. We are trading the E-mini version, so I am going to be trading one contract per instrument. And I'm figuring, I was doing the math over the weekend, and I was like, should I just do like maybe 5 micros, 7 micros? And and I know you're going to pay a little bit more in commission, but it actually worked out to be a little bit better for my risk on an account. I mean, 5 grand is not a ton of money. I know I'm going to have enough margin to, to take some trades here. What I did is I'm capping my daily loss per instrument at $200. So if at any point the the trade finishes and I lose, let's say, 250 or 275 on a trade, it'll stop trading that instrument at least for the day. So we'll have the other instrument which runs on a separate strategy, but I kind of figured I think that that's going to be okay. So I did the math a lot over the weekend, and I feel like one E mini is definitely probably stretching the limit, but I still feel pretty comfortable with it, especially with me being able to have full discretionary powers as to what gets traded and what does not. And when I say what does and what does not, what exactly am I talking about? Well, we all know that this is obviously a bot and it will take trades completely on its own, based on Robert Anderson's gold line trading strategy. You can find all the rules. He's got a ton of videos that he's created on this particular trading style. And I know that strategy pretty well. I know the spot pretty well from now trading it over a month. And what I mean by discretionary is the bot is still going to initiate trades automatically, and I'm going to let this thing trade on its own. But if, for instance, if we're going to be going into an area of resistance, okay, so let's just say for example's sake that we would have got in here on this 5 minute red line, which would have been an awesome trade. Um, and to be honest with you, I'm probably kicking myself. It's hard to trade this thing manually. So that's another thing is I still have to change maybe some of these settings. There's a new version of the bot that's going to be coming out that's going to allow me to turn on the 1 minute goal line, the 5 minute goal line, and the 5 minute red line. Um, that'll let me just kind of trade that by a click of a button. Like, this was a beautiful trade right here, 5 minute goal line, and look at this move up. Okay, now I understand why I didn't take it. It wasn't, it's just it was too quick of a pull way out, so it wasn't really smooth. But at the same time, I would have taken this trade manually. Okay. Um, and that's what I'm talking about. So if we get into this trade, and to be honest with you, the take profit on a 5 minute red line would probably be somewhere around here where my cursor is at, where I would probably bring it down right to this pivot, which is actually aligns with our a high of the day for the Nasdaq. This is just example sake. If again if we were to have taken this 5 minute red line and this take profit comes up here, I might just move this take profit down to this pivot. Because I feel like if we can get past this one right here, the natural progression would be right here. So when I say full discretionary, that's kind of the things that I'm talking about. And again, if we're trading in just pure chop or big red news, like let's just say FOMC or any type of major news events, I don't want to be trading this leading right into it, and I don't want to be trading it right afterwards. I would like to see the dust kind of settle and see where we go from there. So that's my plan for the next 30 days with this challenge. Real money. There's more at stake now for me. I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be. The first one was $2,000. Not saying the $2,000 is not not a ton of money. It is a ton of money. I don't trade with very big size. So, on my other trading account, which is with Ninja, so I have a main account, and then now I created a sub account for that $2,000 challenge before. And, I'm used to trading, one E-mini, typically, or, 5 micro contracts. That's my size, my risk tolerance usually with my main account. So trading $5,000, trading one E-mini on oil and the Nasdaq, it's going to be, there's a little bit more risk obviously here for me, but I feel like I've got more control over this than what I did in my first challenge. So now I can blame myself, or I could blame the bot, or I think now it's going to be a mixture of the two. Here's another thing that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to trade this without being in front of the chart. So that's going to be interesting because, as you know, I have a full-time job. Some days I can stay on the chart until 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. Some days I got to leave earlier. Some days I can be kind of bouncing in and out. So that's also going to shorten the time period that I could trade this. But to be honest with you, I don't like trading anything past really 10 a.m. Not to say that there isn't great trades that you can get in the afternoon. There is. There's some really good ones, especially, pre-noon, right after lunch. But I all my other strategies, I'm done by like 10 in the morning. And I'm done. I shut everything down, and I'm out with my day. So this is gonna entail changing some things around, where I can get a lot more screen time. I'm comfortable with the NQ. I'm very comfortable with oil, so I could kind of see how I feel like I get a good grasp on those. So that's that. Let me go over my strategies, the outcome this morning. Let's start with gold first. Gold. Oh man, you kicked my ass today. And it was just like, this trade just took forever. Forever. So let's open up oil here so we can see it clearly. Let's take this tool out of here. All right, so we get an inside bar that formed at 810. Obviously fits within my strategy conditions that I laid out. If you want to know how to trade gold in the morning, there's a link to that video on that setup in the description. And it lost today. So We get that inside bar. We put our entry at the top of the inside bar, our for long. We put a short entry at the bottom of the candle, and we just let price action dictate which way it's going to go. We're looking for that temporary thrust to hopefully take us to our take profit, or unfortunately sometimes to take us to our stop loss. So, and we all know that we use the source candle, which is a candle straight to the left of the inside bar, as our risk parameter. So today we got activated to the long. So let me take my long tool here, put it in right at the entry. Stop loss goes to the bottom of our source candle right here. So about 13 ticks. Yep, 13 ticks of loss. And our reward is the same thing. So we're always going for a 1-to-1 risk versus reward. Now you can see that on this trade, trade pretty much touches our take profit, gets into the negative territory. I think we're down maybe 100, 110 bucks at this point on that first candle right here, and then starts to go into some profit. I'll be honest with you, this trade was in the red way more than it was in the green for like pretty much the entire time. We did get a good push here to about 60% of our take profit. And as you know, I trade to full take profit or to full stop loss. That is my strategy. And I'm 1-to-1, so I let the trade go. And this thing just, I think we were in there for 35 minutes, 40 minutes in this trade, and then finally knocked us out for 13 ticks of loss, 130 bucks. I think I had a lot. I think it could have. I think it was 140, but I could. No, I think it was 130 bucks of loss. All right, so that was that trade. Let's pull up. Let's pull up oil. Okay. So oil, on the other hand, no setup in session 1. Okay, no setup. So we did not trade session 1. Session 2 gets an inside bar at 9:05. Okay, so let me just delete this so you guys can see. We would have a short entry at the bottom of this inside candle. We would have a long entry at the top of this inside candle. This source candle right here, the bottom would be our stop loss if we're going for a long. The top of the wick would be our stop loss if we were going for a short. We obviously get activated into the long. And let me bring up my long tool. This is our entry. Our stop loss is at the bottom of the source candle. 17 ticks of stop is what we're looking for. Not what we're looking for, but what we get. And what we're looking for is 17 ticks of profit. And you can see here that oil session 1, we nailed it for full take profit. So we had a loss in gold. We had a winner in oil. Remember, my strategy, we only trade 1 trade per session. Here, here's another setup, but it doesn't fit my conditions just because I've already taken a trade here in session 2. So even though we get a max of 2 trades, it is only 1 trade per session. We did not get a trade here in session 1. We did get one in session 2, so we're done. Now, just for shits and giggles, let's just see what happens here. We obviously got activated to the short. Seems like this is a huge inside candle. 52 ticks of loss. What do we do here, people? What do we do here when we get 52 ticks in a risk? Well, we know we bring it down to 35 ticks. Okay, that is my strategy. 1-to-1, so we're still not even in full take profit here. We're at 24 ticks of profit. Again, this setup I don't take. I would not be trading this at all. Okay, so that is oil. That is gold. We know what we're looking for in this 5K challenge. let's see how the day goes. Stick around for my trades that I take with the bot and my entire recap of the day. All right, here we're getting into a setup on the NASDAQ. We've got a pullback down to the 5-minute red line. And, I'm looking at the chart and I'm thinking to myself, we've been into some pretty just chop. I mean, you guys can see to the left what we just came from. And then we get this strong rejection candle that goes right through the 5-minute red line. It obviously activates it because it's touching into it. But then I'm kind of thinking to myself, I'm like,
Order canceled.
it's such a big drop. I'm actually very happy that the bot decided to cancel out this order. And the reason why I canceled it out was that the next candle, which is that orange one, obviously ends up closing underneath the 5-minute red line, and we're trying to look for a long. So it's obviously looking for a rebound off of the 5-minute red line, not to be closing underneath. So it gets us out of that trade. But then this is when I start to see, I'm like, wait a second, we're bouncing right off of the overnight open, and I'm like, this is the perfect trade. You could see that I'm circling it, that this is where I want to go long at, and this is kind of where I just kind of had a brain fart here today. I knew that the bot didn't have the overnight open. I knew I needed to do it manually. And you'll see in my recap what my explanation for that. But it's a feature that needs to be added.
Order submitted.
All right, and here we get into a setup on the 5-minute red line that I was actually, I was kind of stalking this trade for a good 10, 12 minutes. And I really, really was hoping that the bot would take this trade here, and it did. This is a trade off of the 5-minute red line that I personally would have taken this trade manually with no problem whatsoever. I like the spacing. I like the rhythmic pull down back down into the 5-minute red line. Just everything about this trade I liked. Now, there's just one little thing here, which is the take profit. Obviously, I take a look at that take profit, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're gonna have to get through that pivot. But I'm like, well, I'm not gonna move this take profit yet because I want to see what kind of reaction it's gonna get if it does get through that pivot that was at about 16,078. I knew if I got past that level that we had a pretty damn good trade on our hands here. And I was actually pretty excited about it. My entry on this trade was at 16,064. Take profit was at 16,102. So about 38 points of profit is what we're looking for. Again, nothing out of the ordinary for the NASDAQ. So definitely could see that happening as long as we were able to get a good push. Just kind of like what we see right here. I think we get to close to $100 and something in profit, which is great. I mean, last week when we were trading the micros, $100 in profit would be a pretty damn good trade, right? So, but now that we're trading the minis, it's a different story. Now, for things to kind of work out, I think that we've got to be in the 275 to 350 range on our take profits. So, obviously we get into some green here, but my main focus is, and I think we've got our stop loss here was at 16,059. So we've got about 5 points of risk. So on the NQ, $100 of risk is really what we have here. And I'm thinking to myself, we've got enough space with the stop loss to let this trade kind of work out. And I'm really quite honestly, I'm liking the trade. I really am. I would have definitely taken this thing manually as well. So let's see here what the NQ can do. And again, there's no part of me during this trade that is thinking about closing this trade out early just because we're in $100 of profit. I would say me as a trader a year ago, maybe a completely different type of trader where, I would get in and out. I'd get scared. I'd let uh, my full stop losses always get hit, but my take profits, I would get out way too early. Um, and oof, even though that one just right there just came probably within a tick of taking us out of this trade, my patience has as a trader has definitely evolved, and I believe that that is one thing that has also helped me. Also, trading with the right size is super important. I can't overemphasize that at all. And unfortunately, on this one, we do take a loser on the
Order
NQ.
canceled.
All right, so there you have it. Day one of the medium sized challenge was just boring as shit. We took one trade. Literally, the bot took one trade. And then to top it all off, I completely, I completely botched two awesome entries on the overnight open. And I mean, I'm the king of mistakes, man. It's just this doesn't get any better. First, let me show you. I went over the trade that we took, the one loss. I like the trade. We had a decent pullback. We were in an uptrend here, and I liked it. I mean, this was a nice, just solid, long uptrend, and we got that nice rhythmic pull down into the 5 minute red line, and it didn't work out. So I mean that knocked us out there for $100. It I like the trade. I mean, it's as simple, honestly, as simple as that. I like the trade. Um, let's see where we ended off today. All right, so exactly $100 is what we lost in the $5,000 account. We had commission there for man, and I just found this out that this performance report. I don't know why I have been using this for the first challenge. Come on, people watching this video. I mean, that's what the comments are there for. Give me some help sometimes. All right, so $4 in commission there. We're trading one E-mini contract, so $100 loss, no big deal. Here's guys what I am the most upset about. Okay, and it's gonna go right back into this open here. Happened to me twice today. Let's see. This was at right at the no. This was at 9:30. 9:30 Central Time. I mean, we get this huge up move. We come roll right back down into the overnight open and huge rejection off the overnight open. What happens again? Maybe about an hour later, not even an hour later, like 45 minutes later, we get this huge rollover, bounces right off of the overnight open, takes off again for a very nice win. In fact, I even put this green arrow here. I just use this as with an indicator tool, and just to say this is the trade that I would have taken right there as this candle was happening, and this is what I did wrong. Because you're saying, Rob, why didn't you take the trade? Well, I had a complete brain fart. I literally thought to myself, well, how am I going to trade this if it's currently not overnight open is not a current trade within the bot? It is coming soon, but it's currently not available. So I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to trade this manually if I'm trading it with the bot? And I mean, it didn't even process in my head that I could just switch the ATM, which is the automated trading management system, and change it to the overnight open ATM that I already have pre-built from when I traded this thing manually. All I had to do was do that, and I could have gotten into that trade. And I wanted to so bad. I put it in Discord that I totally missed it, and I wanted that trade so bad right there. From what I've heard, the overnight open should be getting added to our bot here pretty soon. I think that's going to be an awesome addition. To be honest with you, I think what really needs, even before the overnight open, I would love to get these buttons here to be able to switch on and off the 1 minute goal line, the 5 minute goal line, and the 5 minute red line. It's a pain in the ass to go back and forth in the strategy because you got to turn the strategy off, you've got to change the setting, and then you got to go back in. So, not a huge fan of that. In general, you know, the market today, I don't know, just kind of did like a V, just did a big V shape. And you could have made some money up and you could have made some money down. So, I mean, both sides were working. I had this on. I turned oil off maybe around, I would say maybe around 11:30, 12. I personally just don't like trading oil. I don't like trading really anything that late. But I mean, I'll take a look at a NASDAQ trade that happens around that time. So, I don't know. Let's see how this kind of shakes out here. As far as my other strategy setups, there, guys, I think I already showed you guys. Gold lost today. It fought so hard, but it couldn't. It didn't. It took full loss on there. Oil in second session came back for a full take profit. Beautiful trade. Super happy. I think I've got that one up here. There it is. Right here. Well, I think I already showed you. Yeah, because and this secondary trade that I was going over in when I first started out the video. I mean, obviously that would have worked as well, but we didn't get into this trade. It's not a setup for us. And then in the 15-minute Rob reversal, no trade setups today. We got we got one that would have worked, but outside of this is at 2:15, so this is already past my conditions. So I would not have taken this trade. And then this one right here is at 10 a.m., but again, it's closing above the 8 EMA. None of these are good trades. And then this one right here is would have been a setup, but this was at 7 o'clock in the morning. And again, my rules and my conditions are to start at 8:15. So overall, still a profitable day. My gold and oil kind of canceled each other out. My NASDAQ trade at 835 worked for $250. No trades on the 15-minute. Obviously, I took a $100 loss in the bot, but that's okay. Today was just I don't know, half weird shit day to trade. I guess the best way to say it. Listen, if you're enjoying the content, please consider consider subscribing to the channel. The support that you guys have given me throughout this journey has been fantastic. The Discord community is just a beautiful community of awesome traders, people that want to help. I want to help. So hopefully you like the video. Leave me a comment below. I read them all, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy trading.